Hi there. I've gone live. Yeah. Right. Well, I'm just making a quick live stream because I've made so many I've done a lot of dictaphone recordings. Just about this place. Oh my gosh. Right. Where are we? It's the 6th of today. They required possession of the property. I've been advised that the council that they're going to have to seek possession. That it will have to get the court. It will have to get the court order, get the paperwork. Good, because I want to go to court. So, first of all, the building contractors. You've got a lot of time on your hands, haven't you? So John blocked my number, but he knows about my YouTube videos. These are the people. These are the people I'm ruining their livelihoods. Apparently, me, the person who was attacked in this room to the point where she thought she was going to be killed by the evicted tenant. In the space of 4 months, from October to February, it's going to take a lot to forgive my partner for a faux pas, but in the space of 4 months, I was assaulted by Sussex police up on Beachy Head, bruised and dragged out of the pub. My crime was sitting in the pub, crying for my dead mother, waiting to be served a cup of tea, angry that the police didn't turn up because I'd reported a guest in the hotel threatening me, and I'd used my severe disability to stay in that hotel to keep away from another one of these places where I didn't feel safe. Now I was sitting in the pub, crying for my dead mother, waiting for a cup of tea, feeling suicidal. They come in, grab me, take me out, throw me against the car, bruising me. This is what the Herald paper had my face in it as a missing person, but they wouldn't let me tell them the truth about what the police did to me, which is interesting because I've shown you that front page headline of when I was in the Gazette, school bullies nearly drove my daughter to suicide, and then this other article that I've got, the one, but the Herald won't let me comment. That's me in 2004. Yeah, but can't tell the truth. But this is the platform to do it. So Steve is now saying that he looked very distressed when he told me and my partner that he walked in on dead bodies in one of these council TAs. He looked very distressed. And just a couple of nights ago, the police called round here. I let them in. No, it was about 3 nights ago, because they're often knocking on the door. And they said that a 16-year-old boy from the London area had been reported missing. And this is an all-female property. It's child trafficking. There is trafficking going on. But honest to goodness, I mean it. I am not joking. When I say that tenant attacked me to the point where I thought she was going to kill me, I am not mincing my words, because I've had attempted rape, I've had domestic violence, and let me tell you this, that was more scary. I was in the bath. It was a woman. Well, not a lady. A big, demented. I've showed you in one of the videos where she'd actually kicked the toilet door in. I didn't even know she'd kicked the toilet door in. I heard banging, and then she was banging on my bathroom door, and I ran down the stairs, and I was shaking. Oh, I couldn't get the key in the door, and I literally jumped out the bath, thrown a towel around me, and it's all orchestrated because it's part of the program. Because I've had more than one person say to me, "This is part of the MK Ultra program." It's what did I can't say who this person is, but it's John Wedger mentioned it. It's intergenerational, and these places are used for social engineering. So that cretin social worker landlord in supported accommodation who said, "I know too much." I knew nothing back then. I knew nothing. What he meant was, I've got the ability to understand, and now I know, because I'm not the only person who's cottoned on to the fact that these places are no different. These temporary accommodations are no different to the psychiatric unit, which are you being, this has been planned. This is the real pandemic, folks, and that's why I'm shadow banned. That these places are the same as supported accommodation and temporary and the psychiatric unit. And that's why I played you that recording of one of the tenants saying to me that the building contractor was working with the council to get me sectioned. And people have said they can't do that. Yes, they can, and they are. And that's what people are too scared to say. And that is how I met John Patterson. I wasn't meant to be in there because I was meant to be getting help in the community. But anyway, may Abba Father Yahweh, may he look after John Patterson. You know, I don't know, you know, we should all be down there shouting and screaming to get him out. That's what happened with Carol Woods, and you know, we could do that. Anyway, so I'm washed and dressed, yes, I'm all but you know, it's sleep deprivation is the torture that they use, and they have many, many ways. I'm going to play you a recording, 2 recordings, because I'm too tired. I'm not going to play you the whole lot, but I'm just going to brief you on the nonsense. Because what they want to do, if you're a targeted individual, is make you question your own sanity. And because I mean, this new tenant, Sarah, look, even if I knew her surname, I wouldn't use it. You know, I've had the verbal abuse, I've had the lies, but if I've been harassed, my personal body, if you attack this vessel, that's what I am. You cause me damage to me, this vessel, then yes, I am going to name and shame you if I know your full name and your age. And I did know the full names and ages of those people, and I put them on Facebook. It doesn't matter anyway, because no one's going to know them. They've stolen my mail and my post, and I thought, right, well, you know my full name, which I haven't given to you. But there's been it's very strange that this Steve, who I've never spoken to because he never made himself available, but he's walked in on dead bodies in their other properties. He's like saying that I've put people's names and dates of birth up. And I said, well, you seem to know more about it than I do. And I don't give my Facebook name to other people because it's not my actual name, for one thing. But I don't give it to people. I'm very private and selective about the people who know about my Facebook name. So he's obviously got a lot of time on his hands, isn't it funny? And John, who blocked my number, saying he'd get me a kettle, he'd get me a Hoover, let me know. Oh, Charmaine was taking the what's it. We'll get her, evicted. The investigating officer came round here because there was domestic violence. I was asked if I'd go to court to testify. Then she turned on me, and then this Roxanne physically attacked me. Anyone who does these things to me, steal from me, lying is one thing, name calling, physical assault, anything that harms me, my person or whatever. If I know your surname and your age, I'll call you out. This Roxanne has got a notebook in the kitchen with her national insurance number and her full name and her date of birth. I didn't put her date of birth up there, and I didn't put a national insurance number up there because I'm not stupid. I put her full name and age because that's how I was feeling. You don't think that's deliberate? Well, what a stupid thing to do anyway. But no, I'm not going to put her personal details up. But you got a lot of time on your hands, folks. I'm putting the truth out there to say what kind of things goes on in these places and what I've been a victim of. Whether I have people watching my videos or not, I couldn't care less. I could not care less. I'm doing this for my benefit to get it off my chest. They've still been harassing me, telling me to go in my room. You should have been out of here, swearing, verbal abuse. John called me a div. I was told to F off. Very aggressive behaviour. Isn't it funny, though, in the final warning, they're doing now exactly what they've accused me of. It's part of the programme, you see. It's funny. Unfortunately, I didn't have my dictaphone on when I was being called a div and told to F off. And unfortunately, my dictaphone didn't pick up that demented, demon-possessed cleaner threatening to punch me in the face. Not to me, but on the phone to someone saying I'm going to punch her in the face. Sadly, it didn't pick it up. But that's what happened. I'm telling you that on my property, or the property where I live, if there's a little boy outside, I don't have children, but I care about other people's children. Just because I don't have children doesn't mean I don't care about other people's children. And it is my business. It's my business. It's everybody's business. It's everybody's duty to care. There are vulnerable people. We should all care about each other. There's a used needle outside and a child outside. It was my business to know about it. It is my business. That's why we've got broken Britain. That's why we've got so many people, these staff members, these tenants who have children, if they've got no morals themselves, like we've all got a duty of care to each other, as well as ourselves. A child would not behave the way these people have. This new tenant came in here. I thought, oh, here we go. You give them a chance. It's all part of the programme. Are you all right? Oh, you poor... Yeah, goes away. She's got her issues. She can't get the social worker to help her. Blah, 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 blah. We're sympathising with each other. I'm going to get my auntie to sort out that woman up there because it's making me nervous, all the banging and everything. Yeah. And she's saying that she's going to get her mum to go to the press, to go to Meridian News and all of that. And I'll do the same thing. And I've contacted them. I haven't sent them the email where I forwarded my complaints to the local authorities yet. But I haven't been well. It's made me physically ill. It's made me drained. That's part of the programme. Anyway, so without further ado and all that, um, I'll just play you these recordings, get this off my chest. So I've got this terrible habit where I write on my hand, just so I know what. So basically, yeah. So in the first recording that I'm about to play, this new tenant who, as I said, she was all comforting, and then there's a change process that goes on. You might also be able to hear, well, you will hear in the recording of the cleaners that I approached. Just so you know, Sergeant Saville suggested I get this. With regards to the feces in the bin, yeah, there was human feces in the bin. The smell made me. There was actual piece of human feces. I found feces on certain things like a towel and stuff. This is what they do to targeted individuals. I've since learned that. But PC Ian Williams said the landlord has got a duty to upkeep the property and everything. Anyway, with what happened with the cleaners, where I had a threat, there was a threat to punch someone in the face, namely me. I'm talking in legal terms here, because my name was not mentioned, but it was for me, believe me. There was no one else being attacked. But I'll just let you know, I called the police. Well, you'll hear it in the recording. Which room are you in? Room 2. We'll be there with you. They listened, wait for it, they listened to the cleaners and the tenant who was told not to talk to me. And I've got another recording on my dictaphone where 2 police officers, and I've got their names. This is Sussex Police. Those 2 police officers have said that we're not meant to talk to each other. The only time that I spoke to this tenant after that was, and I recorded it, asking her very politely if she wouldn't play music in the communal area because, well, it's antisocial in the kitchen. You don't want to hear other people's music. You play it in your own room. You know, I wouldn't do that. I treat others how I want to be treated. But she intervened with these cleaners, and I was very, very polite to them. And this is part of the gaslighting that they do to the targeted individual. I don't care what anyone says. Human feces in the bin is an environmental hazard. Very dangerous hazard. I don't know what kind of a degenerate would do that, but it's not nice. And PC Ian Williams said, if you find because when I found the bog brush with the poo on the end, he said, and there was a woolly hat stuck on it, he said, the landlord has the duty of care. Well, this time it was in the bin. I went in there and I was like, what the hell is that? And it was only a tiny piece, but it was inside a tuna can. So I anyway, this new tenant is no longer here. I hope she's not coming back. But this is what happens. Someone comes in. You right? Oh, you know. And it's really quite funny because I know that she's been speaking to the cleaners before I've gone in there, because this cleaner who's turned all nasty and weird, she already knew, by the way, about the notice to quit. She mentions it. She said, you're meant to have been out of here or something. And she's been on the phone to her boss, namely the managing director. There are so many inconsistencies, but I'm too tired to, you know. I knew, but the point where I knew that she'd definitely been by this Sarah, was when she said narcissistic. Because I was talking about narcissism to this Sarah, and I smiled. I never said to her, it's narcissistic. It's like when this horrible practice manageress who behaved like a. Do you know what? It's got me wondering now. Now that I know about the program and what the Freemasons do and everything, I couldn't believe that young girl was actually a manageress, just like the one at the Vernon house. It's like the one at my doctor's practice. She just sounded so ignorant, and she said Pacific. I thought you were joking. Pacific, like Del Boy. I mean, come on, folks. Anyway, I'm no snob or anything, and I'm no intellect. But I mean, this is what I mean. I'm like, is this actually happening to me? Why are so many people behaving like this? I know what society is like now, but PC Ian Williams is a welfare officer, and he said that you should, anything that's remotely disgusting, report it to landlord, because they have a duty to upkeep to a certain level of standards. Well, I've still got my smashed bedroom window. The wall is only just being fixed. They've only just installed CCTV, but guess what? The police wouldn't. I called the police out after the cleaners abused me. The managing director has intervened, and then the police haven't come to see me. It was my call out to the police. You can hear in the recording, I'm giving the registration of the car, which they asked me for. So now that there's CCTV, they're still not investigating. There's still broken glass out there. You can see in the video where I had my bedroom window smashed. No one from the neighbourhood policing team came out to see me, and people could still get round out over the back wall. And as I said, a 16-year-old boy was reported missing from the London area here in an all-female tenancy. And I had someone from the I had someone from the people who put me here said, what was your partner's doing staying there? It's meant to be an all-male tenancy. This is back in December and January. And it was the police who suggested my partner stay here to keep me safe after I was attacked by a demented woman. And I was climbing out of the window with a towel falling off me. I was going to run into the street naked if I had to. I was that scared for my life. I've seen men here off their heads on drugs. There's probably, I've got to be careful what I say, there probably was prostitution going on here. How come there are all these homeless people out there, and we've got some rooms here that are empty? People, sometimes they come back, they go away, and then they come back. Eastbourne is known for drugs dens and goodness knows what. Anyway, so just to explain, because I've written this on my hand. So this tenant Sarah, I hope she's gone now. She was laughing when I was speaking to the building contractors at one point, and this horrible Steve, because I've written it down, because I want to remember that I'm mentioning it. He was mocking me. He was laughing about me having an ambulance called for me, paramedics, because I was physically sick one time. This was before I was assaulted by that Roxanne. I was violently sick in the toilet, but we're talking about when I've been suicidal, because I'm literally, my birthday's coming up, and I've been talking about jumping off Beachy Head, getting intoxicated and jumping off Beachy Head. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't take drugs, I don't even take poisons, medication. I take anything that's natural. But I would buy, alcohol to get intoxicated and jump off bloody Beachy Head. And I've talked about, because birthday is the most satanic in the satanic calendar. It's the most it's the highest satanic day of the year in the satanic calendar. when they do all those evil things to children and animals. Well, birthdays are the one. That's how ill I've been. Thought about burning a Bible. I've been very confused. Because as part of the programming, the MK Ultra and all that, they get people in as handlers. And these people in the know who've this individual who, I'll just say, they have a link to Freemasonry. They people get murdered, people get sacrificed. It's an actual sacrifice, but they have ways to do it. And as John Patterson said, don't kill yourself because that's what they want. Well, my partner, we could have been brought together. I want to believe it's because of his faith in Yahweh. But, the whole gaslighting thing and the smear campaigns and the gang stalking, well, this is the worst town for it. There's a stronghold for Freemasonry here. There are cults. Lewis has a satanic, down here in the southeast, it's the worst place. But I don't want to know too. It's like I want to know, but I don't want to know. But that's probably why Eastbourne has got such a bad reputation for rude people, homeless people, vulnerable people, drugs. It is horrendous. And I even heard that horrible Steve saying that. I didn't pick that up on my dictaphone. But, I've spent most of my life down here, and well, it's been a real eye-opener, I can tell you that. I mean, I've had a sheltered life. When I say sheltered, I don't mean I mean protected. I don't mean, I'm an intelligent person, and I've, seen. I mean, people sometimes get this idea that when I say sheltered, and then they're quite surprised when they realise how much I know. I have travelled the world as a child. I've seen some of the world, and my mother's background. But then, if I am this MK Ultra victim, and my mother, and there's something intergenerational, because there are things in my family that are not many people would have those experiences, especially as a collective, all of them, if you know what I mean, because some of them are paranormal and some of them are extremely traumatic. So I'm not someone who's got a silver spoon in the mouth. But anyway, so I don't want to jabber on, but I just want to get this up. So yeah. So what was I going to say? So this Steve, the building contractor, he was more interested, seemed very interested in my Facebook page. When I asked him what is my Facebook page name, he said, "I'm not going to tell you because you'll change it." No, I'm not going to change it. But he's obviously got a lot of time on his hands and very interested in my Facebook page. But, he's accusing me of something I haven't done. I don't know people's names and dates of birth. I don't even know his and John's surnames. And yet I had this person mysteriously text me saying they knew my name and surname, and I'm going to put your name all over Facebook. You've been horrible to my sister, Roxy. Well, she shouldn't have known my surname. Obviously, she studied my mail, because I've had mail. She saw my parcel on the floor, yeah, and she described the colour of it. Hermes emailed me to say and I said, well, where is it then? She said, I don't know. Maybe Charmaine's got it. I said, well, I'm calling the police. I didn't accuse her of stealing it, but you should have seen her screaming and shouting at me. And then this person claiming to be her sibling, then sent me these saying I'm going to put Brian E. McCarthy all over the internet, saying what a terrible person she is. She's demented. She screamed and shouted at me. She sent me all these text messages. It's demonic. Those who are in the know about this social engineering, those who are targeted individuals, those who have links to Freemasonry, they'll know. And I really don't care. And if this MK Ultra thing is real, you will hear in the recording there is a moment where the washing machine switches itself on because it plays a little tune. That is considered a possible glitch, because if you've ever seen Michael Jackson interview with Oprah Winfrey, you know when the fire alarms go off, it's a distraction because he's saying something he mustn't say. There was a little bit like that. The washing machine suddenly switched itself on, and this Sarah, who's been told not to speak to me and vice versa, she suddenly said, the washing machine's just switched itself on, and it distracted me, and that was the whole idea. But I ignored it. I'm not stupid. Either way, even if it's not targeted individuals, UK, there are lots of us out there. These places are bugged. You got to keep an eye on your stuff. You got to keep an eye on everything. Keep your ears to the ground. They think they don't like me because I'm exposing. I'm not ruining people's livelihoods. I'm not putting people's names and dates of births up. If you want to prove it to me, you do that. But you won't even tell me my own Facebook name. And yet it doesn't make sense. No, I'm not going to change it. Tell you what it is because you'll change it. That doesn't make sense. I'm not going to change it. You already said you know my Facebook name. I'm not going to change it. If you want to look at it, you're a very sad person. Get a life. Because you won't even answer my text messages. It's taking you this long to fix the wall. And you said you work for A&A contractors. Well, isn't that interesting? Because the letter, Charles Lucas Property Management, you have, right. Where does he say this lovely fraudulent letter claiming that I've been abusive and threatening? I've been angry. I'm the one who's had the name calling and the aggression and the swearing. I don't swear at people. I've been angry, which I'm allowed to be. You have been verbally abusive and physically threatening to our staff, right? Charles Lucas Property Management, yeah, right. You have been threatening to, can you see, our staff? You see that? Our staff, where I'm pointing, our staff. So, Steve, from A&A Contractors. Yes, I could read your jumper. And what does this letter say? Our staff. Our staff. Our staff. Charles Lucas Property Management. You're telling me you don't work for Charles Lucas Property Management? Well, it's funny, Justin Godden, because they're saying they don't work for you. Isn't that funny, John? Yes. You know about my videos, but you've blocked my number. Roxanne put you on loudspeaker saying you've blocked me, but you've got time to watch my YouTube videos. You've got a lot of time on your hands. Yes, and I've recorded Roxanne saying that you and Justin are working with the council to get me sectioned. Why? For complaining, because I've had my life threatened. It's only now that you're installing CCTV. Anyway. Right. So I've been escalating the complaints. I can't prove, no one can prove who defecated in the bin. No one can prove who smashed my window. I can't even prove that Aisha attacked me, but thankfully she was evicted. Maybe it's because the lovely lady next door, whose name I won't mention, called the police. Because Bryony's word is not good enough. No! They're using the mental health card, which is what they're doing to everyone. And may Abba Father Yahweh, Shalom Shabbat, John Patterson and all those who are working, look forward to seeing you. So I'm now going to play, I've done 35 minutes of waffle, but it's not waffle. I'm going to play you the recording. Was it? Sorry, I just yeah. I've yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to play this recording of me speaking to the building contractors.
My Facebook name is. Because you've been going on about it. You know what my Facebook name is? No answer. You've accused me of a lot of things, but you can't tell me what my Facebook name is. And you tell me to F off, Steve. This is the first time I've ever actually spoken to you about any of the problems here.
But I told you people were dead or whatever.
Yes, you told me that you walked in on dead bodies in one of the properties. No, when I moved in here. Yes, it's the first time I've spoken to you, but when I moved in here, you told me that you'd seen dead bodies in one of the properties. So come on, what's my Facebook name? This is the first time we've ever spoken to each other. What, you've been telling me to F off, to get lost? But you've obviously got a lot of time on your hands. I don't care. I couldn't even care less if nobody's looking at my Facebook page.
I'm not on about your Facebook. I'm on about your YouTube channel where you're trying to...
No. You said it is corrupt.
Well, it says A and A. It definitely doesn't say Charles Lucas, does it? No, it doesn't.
No, it says A and A.
You can read then.
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't say
That's right.
Charles
That's right,
Lucas.
Sarah. Clap. That's right. Clap, Sarah. I know it says A and A. Yes, I agree, Sarah. It says A and A.
Our staff.
But John told me if I ever have a problem, let him know. And the kettle's just broken. And he told me and my partner, yes, we'll get you a new kettle.
I'm having to use my kettle.
Apart from mine. Yeah. There are no kettles working apart from mine.
God.
Yeah.
My God.
I know, my God. And there's John saying, I'll get you a Hoover, I'll get you this, I'll get you that. He called me darling. Then he went...
You're going to poo in a bin.
What the hell is a poo in a bin got to do with hoovering? We're going to turn this into a YouTube comedy. We're going to turn this into a YouTube comedy.
I'll be waiting for
Yeah. So, we've got broken glass. Do you know what? You're telling me you're giving me an awful lot of abuse on the day that you're finally fixing the wall, that you're finally putting CCTV in here, after I've been attacked to the point where I thought the evicted tenant was going to kill me. You didn't want to do anything back then, did you? And you wonder why you're walking on dead bodies.
Because then I'm actually abusing people, will I? Doing the things that you're accusing.
I'm not accusing you of anything.
You've been accusing me of stuff.
You've been accusing me of putting people's names and dates of birth on a Facebook page that you shouldn't know about.
Oh, should I not? No. But why are you putting
What is my Facebook? Come on, what is my Facebook name?
Well, I told you to change it, wouldn't you?
No, I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to change it because if you can see it, you've got an awful lot of time on your hands. I want people to see it.
I've got an awful lot of time on my hands.
But you look at my personal information.
Destroy our business
I'm trying to destroy.
because of your self.
I'm trying to destroy his business. I've had my bedroom window smashed. I've been assaulted. I've been attacked. There's broken glass still there.
There's glass still
2
there.
days after. 2 days after I reported it nicked. 2 days after I reported it smashed. 2 days after I reported it smashed.
Maybe just put CCTV
I
in.
was told someone from the neighbourhood policing team would come out here, and they didn't.
But instead what they do
But it still won't look at the CCTV.
Why? No, it's mad. God knows why. I agree with you. I agree with you.
When you call the police,
Oh, sorry.
I'm out. 2 days after I reported it nicked. 2 days after I reported it smashed. 2 days after I reported it smashed. I was told someone from the neighbourhood policing team would come out here, and they didn't.
But instead what they do is they call an ambulance because
Why? No, it's mad. God knows why. I agree with you. I agree with you.
when you call the police, why do they?
Perhaps because most vulnerable people, when they've been attacked to the point where they think someone's going to kill them, they get suicidal.
You're putting yourself
Unlike certain attention seekers.
or whatever you want to say. You know. Thank you, YouTube. That's one.
Do you know what? I'm being unbelievably nice about this because I never. Yeah. Do you realize how ridiculous you sound?
You are good. Honestly, you are good. How ridiculous I sound.
John told me to report any problems that I have. You don't know John? Sorry, your colleague that was here just a second ago.
Doesn't know John.
John. And he's not going to get you. Yeah, that one. Yeah, your colleague. I'll get you a
I don't know John.
Yeah.
Who's working with him now?
Yeah, he told me it was my partner that mentioned the kettle. At home? Why?
So he's here caring about you.
Abuse.
Yeah, like your partner. I'm not even getting into this.
My own house.
I'm not even going to get into this. I've never heard anything so juvenile. You've accused me of I can't get my head round it. I feel if that was your little boy, I feel sorry for him. Bringing kids in. Oh, we're getting upset now. This isn't your child. Sarah, get away from her. She's getting in my face now. You think you're pathetic? Yeah, John is even stopping her from coming near me. This is unbelievable. There's a used needle here. Look, there's a used needle.
You're not protecting her.
Did I fight? No, she came. This is nothing.
You brought the kids, man. Leave it.
Yes, I did. You're absolutely right, John. I brought up children because you have a duty of care to vulnerable people here. And it's disgusting. If you've
Yes, to
got
our
children,
tenants.
you shouldn't be behaving like this.
As a duty of care to our tenants. Did you hear that?
All of you. Yes, all of you. I don't know your children. You didn't even say who that little boy was, and it's my...
It's none of your business.
It is. It's my home. This is my home. My home where I have been attacked to the point where I thought someone was going to kill me. Yes, Sarah, you might look tearful now. You're about to lose a tenant here. You haven't been attacked to the point where you thought someone was going to kill you.
So, yeah, obviously I'm getting very emotional. Mentioning other people's children, I didn't know who that little boy was. I saw him outside with Steve near the Needle. That is a concern to me, whether I live here or not, but I live here. I also recorded them saying you don't live here anymore, you should have been out. I'm not going to play it because I want to keep this video as short as possible because I'm too tired. I'm just going to play one more recording of the cleaners. I'm just trying to make a point here. But you could hear Steve saying, "Who is John?" I don't know a John. That's the colleague that he was working with. Yeah. So it's all part of the head effing, as it were, if you'll excuse my French. But you heard John say, "I have a duty to the tenants." Right, okay. This is what I mean. He blocked, Roxanne put him on loudspeaker saying, "I've blocked her," meaning me. I wish I'd had a dictaphone at this point. I used my phone to record Roxanne saying that, as you know, in the other video, you can hear her saying that, admitting that she kicked my door because she was frustrated, and John and Justin are working with the council to get me sectioned using the mental health card. So, yeah, and you also heard in that recording Steve mocking me, saying you're getting paramedics out and the police. How does he know that? How does he know that? I mean, my partner has had conversations with him. Yes. Yes. Did you hear him say in the recording, "Where is your partner if he cares?" See what I mean? Now, people have said to me, "Your partner's been emotionally abusive." Yes, he has. And I'm not going to lie about that. That's up to him now. I can't answer for him. He can only answer for himself. That's down to him. He's got to be a man, just like these men have got to be a man. There are no men in our society. There are no real women. There are very few very brave whistleblowers like John Patterson and Carol Woods and people like that. It's demented. These people have got children. A child wouldn't behave like this. I don't have children, thank goodness. I'm struggling enough. I don't feel safe around these people. So just think how are these children protected? I'm a tenant in this home where I should feel safe. I'm meant to have entered a contract. I didn't enter a contract. I was trafficked here. I had severe police brutality. Then I was put on a Section 136. I had a group of nursing assistants grab me and pin me to a bed, snatching my phone from me while I was on the phone to Darren, my partner, and Steve from the food bank. You know all about the food bank and the Trussell Trust and the Freemasonry around that. You know about what these charities are really all about. There are many ways to kill a person, to gaslight a person, to take your children away from you, and the food banks are being used to do that. So you can't afford to look after your children. You'll have to go to a food bank. Then adult social care will say, "Right, we'll have to take the children from you because you can't afford to feed them." Those places. And one of the food bank advocates said she couldn't understand why the psychiatric unit weren't helping me. She didn't know how they could sleep at night for what they'd done to me. And that if I jump off Beachy Head, she'll tell the coroner I didn't get the help I needed. But then she also said, "I don't think you should see Darren anymore." Well, you know what? Fair enough. Then I'm going to be Superwoman on my own. And it's up to Darren to speak up for himself, as if he said anything disparaging about me, he's going to have to pay. Everybody's going to have to pay. We're all going to have to face the final judgment. And all these people who are part of this trafficking, their time is coming on this earth as well. Thank goodness. Hopefully. I'm going to play one more recording. Was there anything else I wanted to say? So basically you've heard Steve mock me for having paramedics saying, "Where's your partner? He should be here if he cares about you. I'm not going to tell you your Facebook name because you'll change it. He's obviously very interested in me. Obviously, he's so interested in me. But anyway, so whatevers, I don't care. So these are the cleaners. Wait a minute. I approached the cleaners. I was very polite. I just was very anxious about approaching them. The cleaners had said something to me about before this new tenant moved in here. The one that's turned abusive, they came in, they said, are you something about you the one that keeps this place clean or something like that. It was alluding to, do you keep the place, because I do have an obsession with cleaning now as part of the stress, but I am a very clean person. And as I said, it's before the new tenant moved in, and it's all very quiet here. The two nasty ones that are here that have been a problem, one's gone, the one that assaulted me and the one that harassed me. I don't know. I just hope that it stays as quiet as possible. Whoever's here, I just want it to stay quiet. But I just approached them very politely. As I said, this Sarah was asked by the police not to speak to me, and I was asked not to speak to her, and I recorded that with my dictaphone, the names of the police officers who said we're not to speak to each other. But since then, this is before I approached the cleaners, which I'm about to play you. I just very politely said, would you not play music in the communal area? Again, very politely. But 3 times I asked her, by the way, but she still played music in the communal area. And she hadn't done, I find it funny how she hadn't done that before the police asked her not to speak to me. So she'd been considerate up until that point. See, they're all in cahoots. This is how pathetic they are. They will walk all over the vulnerable people to climb to the top, to get what they want, to get the council to do this and that for them, to get their own way. Would you know what? This is why people won't be honest. And that's how cowardly people are, particularly in this country. And I really just, do you know what? Spiritually, I'm a strong woman because I'm doing this for me. I'm doing it for my mother, and it's well worth it. Yes, you will suffer like me. These people, they don't even know when they're demon possessed, and this is what I have been told. It's part of the program. It's part of what's the setup, shall we say. So I'm going to play that recording for you. Listen out for when the washing machine switches itself on. Listen out for when Sarah says to them, don't answer. She's trying to get involved. She's been asked not to speak to me, and I've been asked not to speak to her. She's trying to antagonise this situation. And as I said, that horrible cleaner says narcissistic, which is what Sarah said. This is why it's really quite funny. But it's nasty. It's really nasty. I'm just being very polite. I'm not harassing them. They're doing their cleaning. I wasn't blocking them. They were in the kitchen. I wasn't blocking their part. I wouldn't do that. I asked the police to look at CCTV. See, this is just it. You can hear Sussex police asking me, what room am I in? And they will be with me shortly. Well, they didn't. And I'm treating it as a did not attend. I rang the police back and spoke to a triage call handler who said that the triage sergeant said that no offence had taken place. Well, they didn't investigate it. So I've had to make a complaint, and I had a triage call handler who was disgusted that no one had come out especially as there was a threat of a punch in the face. So it's going to take a week or two to hear back from someone to come and watch the CCTV, and they're going to have to do that. Because if I'm going to court and they want to take possession of this room and make me homeless for escalating complaints ever since I moved in here, but they're ignoring my... Let me just tell you this. I'm used to the kind of narcissistic... Should we have elocution lessons for the cleaners that wouldn't tell me what company they work for? Oh, by the way, also listen out for the fact that she knows about my notice to quit and that she's already been on the phone to her boss. But she wouldn't say who her boss was. Justin Godden. I would wonder, did you get involved with the police? Did you block them? You've just installed CCTV, but you're not using it for me. I've been complaining. There's a whole lawsuit here for everything that hasn't been put in place. Ever since I moved in here, I showed you in the video the notice that said there's no CCTV, and I filmed the fact that I showed you in the video that there was no CCTV here. They've only just installed it, and yet on the 3rd of March, which is when I recorded this, on the 3rd of March, the CCTV there, they wouldn't come and investigate. So I'm going to play you this. This is what my life is like.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. Oh, yes, you better put I've got a next one for you, girls. Sorry, Tim. Yeah. But then it's not really nice. Oh, shit. It's not really music in there, you know, which I'm not allowed to do. Yeah, it was kind of sweet, because we weren't actually there. And it just fell off. I tried to screw it back in. Sorry, remember the last time that you were here? Yeah. I asked, remember last time you were here, you said to me that someone said, don't say anything. That I have a habit of keeping the property clean. You said you're the clean one. Don't remember that. Why? Well, I didn't say anything at the time. Yeah. But just spit it out. Come on. I've been escalating some very serious complaints. Right. And I don't want to say anything at the time, but so I can't even speak to Jones. Come and listen to this as well because it's So I need both of you to hear this. I need both of you to hear the story. What am I listening to? Sorry, I'm sorry to bother you when you're playing. It's very serious. Remember the last time that you were here, you made a comment to me about something about me, or you're the clean one. It's always quite clean and tidy. Yeah. Well, okay, I just thought to myself, well, that's interesting because I've been escalating very serious complaints to Justin and John, and they're not interested. And I found feces in the bin the other night. I reported it to the police now because they're not interested.
Right.
They have served me notice to quit because I have escalated complaints ever since I moved in here. And I didn't want to say anything, but yeah.
So the bin upstairs?
That bag outside where you see there's a note on it now. I found that in the toilet bin the other night.
But with the note on it? Okay.
Yes.
No,
You put the note on it, you said?
Yes,
You don't have to say.
Yes.
You put the note on the bag.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Why would you touch it? Yeah. I'm definitely, I don't care if shit's in the bin, mate. I'm not cleaning no shit out of the bin. So I don't know if that's your point out of the bin. If you're trying to want to shit in the bin, then that's...
I don't blame you. I went into the bathroom and no, I'm only here to, all I'm doing is I've come out here just to ask you, do you remember last time you came out?
Yeah, when she was sitting there, you were sitting there.
No, before the tenant was here, before Sarah was here, you made a comment to me about keeping the property clean.
I just said, we made a comment about it all the time. I never asked anyone to keep it clean. I said, how clean it is.
Keep it clean.
Yeah.
No, you said to me you're the one who has a tendency to keep it clean.
I said, are you? I asked you a question. I didn't say you are, so I don't know.
Okay.
I don't live here, so I don't know.
No, okay, that's fine. Sorry, I just thought it was interesting because I just thought in case Justin or John had said anything, I just thought that's interesting because I've been like...
What are they going to say? I don't shit in a bin. To be fair, they're not really bothered. I really don't give a flying fuck, to be honest. I just come here to clean my job, clean. I'm
only here to ask a question, that's all.
Because you're kind of beating around the bush. I just want to know the question.
I'm not beating around the bush, I'm just saying I remember the last time I spoke to you, you were very pleasant to me.
Yeah.
And you said, oh, you're the one who tends to...
I said, are you the one that tends to clean? Because obviously I think it's
I'm only coming in to very politely concern this with you because
I physically don't know. You can tell me you clean. You can tell me you clean.
I agree.
I did it. You can tell me that.
I'm not trying to put you. I don't want you to think that I'm trying to. I'm not trying to.
I really don't look forward to the conversation.
No, I'm not trying to.
What's the point?
I don't want to put you in a precarious position.
I don't know. You're not actually in any position.
No, I know. I've just listen.
Why don't I just go?
I'm sorry, but all I wanted to know was
she just gone off by herself.
I'm sorry. I just got this impression that when you said, are you the person who keeps...
Yeah, but why did you deliberately come out of your room? It doesn't really make sense to me.
It doesn't matter to you. We're not meant to be talking to each other anymore.
Oh, but it's all right for you to come.
This is between... Sarah, this is a... I'm sorry. No, but Sarah, we're not meant to be talking to each other.
That's what... Can you ask your boss to please move me out of this house? I just like him. I thought he's going to make some phone calls today.
Anyway, all I wanted to say was, look, I know that you have nothing to do with any of this. I just wanted to ask because I remember you were very polite to me last time.
I am polite, but I kind of do not get the point of the conversation. That's my only thing. You stopped me from working to have a conversation about.
I haven't stopped you. I don't want
you from downstairs because you need to phone from us in it, but I don't.
No, your colleague called you that.
Yeah, but I just don't.
It's a good idea that you're both here so that you
don't get why. Because I don't care if you clean. I don't care if you clean. I don't care who cleans.
I know.
I still got to come here every week and clean the goddamn place.
I'm not stopping you. I'm not stopping you. I'm just saying that I need to clean. I'm just having a very very polite conversation. Please don't take this.
No, you're repeating yourself. I do get that, what you're telling me, but at the same time, I really just don't get the point of the conversation.
I've been very polite to you. Please.
But that's narcissistic what you're doing right now. What I'm telling you is please you're narcissistic. But can you just...
Sarah, this has nothing to do with you. I'm speaking to the phone.
She's not talking to you, she's on the phone to you.
Please, Sarah, don't get involved, Sarah. Sarah, this has nothing to do with you.
She's on the phone.
This is very serious because I have been sent a notice to quit because ever since I know
You've been given a notice to... You've got to...
Oh, you know about it?
Yeah, I've just been told on the phone.
Right, okay, well, that's good because
He knows about it.
That's about you being rude to other people. Sorry, I work with
you're accusing me of being rude.
I'm not accusing you of nothing. I'm just being...
Just accused me of being rude.
What's your eviction notice? Why have you been served with
Listen, I've been very polite to you. All I want to do...
I know you're going to get evicted for no reason.
There's an accusation there. I'm not getting evicted for no reason.
It's not going to save you from being evicted.
I'm being
I
polite.
want to crack on with my work. It's not serious. It's not to me. I'm coming to do my job and I want to go. I don't want to get involved in your stuff. So don't talk to me about it. Don't talk to me about it. Go back to your room. Don't talk to me about it. That's what I know. And I come and clean
You don't
it,
tell
and I
that
wanna
to
go
someone in their own
Please
home.
don't be very aggressive. Please go back to your room. I'm getting a bit off now.
No, I've been very polite to you.
Please get out of the way.
This is my home.
Let me crack on with what I'm doing.
I'm not in your way.
I'm being very polite.
There's environmental...
She's telling me to go to my room.
Because there's... Can you call your boss?
This is my home.
You
listen to Sarah. They're escalating it. They're escalating it. They're deliberately escalating it. He's professional.
Please can you just I need to let you know that I'm having to record this. I'm being very polite. Have I not been very polite? She's asking you to no, I haven't. She hasn't let me finish. No, she hasn't. I want to listen to you finish. You're being very rude and aggressive to me. So this is nothing to do with you. This is nothing to do with you. No, this is my home and I'm asking a question to the cleaners. No, do what we need to do. I'm not in your way. Look at the CCTV. You're being very aggressive. You're being very aggressive. I've been very polite to you. I'm trying to tell you that
No one
I'm
looked
going
at
to
the
have to report this to the
CCTV.
police because I've come here to ask you a very polite question.
Didn't use CCTV.
You're being very... All I've done is I've come here to very politely ask you... All I've done is come to you to ask you a very polite question. All I've done is come to ask you a very polite question. I've come here to ask you very... All I've done... Am I being aggressive? Am I being aggressive? All I've done is... I'm not doing it... I need to let you know about environmental hazard. And I found feces in the bin and I left a note on the bag. And this tenant Sarah is getting involved in something that has nothing to do with her. Sorry I didn't take the rubbish out, but I'm the only person who empties the bin, and I'm sorry I've left the bin there. But I've been very polite to you and all I've done is ask you to step away from her. Thank you.
I'm not anywhere near anyone. I'm asking. I've come here. Excuse me. This is my home,
Rosie, come here.
and you're cleaners. And I wanted to tell you about environmental hazard. Sergeant Simmons told me that I need to report on the phone. I've been very polite to you. I need to tell you about an environmental hazard here. I've been very polite to you.
I swear to God, I'm going to need to leave the room.
I beg your pardon. What did you just say? You just said you're going to punch me. Did you just say you're going to punch me? Can you just get out of my face? That's a threat. Oh, mate, she's following me around. I'm not following you around. I've been very polite to you, and you've been very threatening towards me.
Right.
You've been threatening.
I haven't threatened you.
You threatened to punch me.
Did you hear what I said?
I asked you.
I didn't say anything about you.
I'm recording it.
I didn't say anything about you. I asked you out of my face. Stop following me. Stop following me.
I'm not following you. This is my home.
Following.
This is my home.
I'm coming clean. This is my home.
This is my home.
Right.
This is my home. May I ask who you are? You're in my home. You need to tell me because you're in my home.
No, I come Sergeant, and you're being so rude. Come and be
Am I her? No, she's getting involved in something that has nothing to do with her.
I'm calling you hooks. I'm not just you're
My name is Brian. This is my home. Can you tell me who you are? I asked you very politely. I asked you a question. Can you tell me who you are? Could you tell me who you work for? Could you tell me who you work for, please? I've been very polite, haven't I? Have I not been polite? I'm still being polite. May I ask who you work for, please? Because legally this is my home, and Sergeant Simmons asked me to. He suggested that I record anything. Can I ask who you are?
Landlord. Yeah.
Can I ask who you are, please?
I'll get to her now.
I've just come
Ringing the
back
landlord.
to speak to you very politely about some environmental
It's all
hazard.
part of the setup.
Can you not tell me who you are?
Who
You
is
need
the
to tell me who you are
landlord?
because this is my
Good
home,
question.
and I'd need to know who's in my home. You threatened to
Justin?
punch me, and I need to know who you are. Legally,
Anthony?
this is my home, and you need to tell me who you are.
You need to know. Where's the...
No, this is my home. This is my home, and you need to tell me who you are. I'm calling the police then.
Hold on.
Because
What's already phoning the police? You are disgusting the way you're behaving.
am I?
Yes, you're following me around in my work.
This is my home. I've asked you very politely a question about a
stood in my
No, I have not.
I asked you to...
I have not. I have not.
Go back on your recorder and listen to how many times I asked you to move out my way.
Sergeant Simmons suggested that I record anything. And you need...
Sergeant Simmons.
I've had threatening behaviour in my home, and I need to know who these people are in my home. This is my home. Legally, I'm a tenant at 12
Oh, I don't want to hear that.
and I've been threatened to have a punch in the face. And all I've done is ask these people. Sorry, who is in your property at the moment?
The cleaners. Pass it here.
I asked you who you are, and you wouldn't tell me.
You see me every week.
You wouldn't tell me what company you work for.
You see me every week.
I asked you what company you work for.
Right, it's fine.
Right, they won't tell me what company they work for.
You've seen me for the past...
Right, all I did was ask them a very polite question. One of them has threatened to punch me in the face. There's now CCTV here, and I've done what Sergeant Simmons told me to do. One of the tenants, Sarah, has got involved. Your postcode, please. It is BN22.
Right, I don't want you to hear that.
12
Oh, right. Don't need to hear that.
She wouldn't tell me who they won't tell me who they work for. I only went to ask them a simple question, and they started becoming aggressive towards me. I've reported environmental waste here.
How many people are there that don't live at your property?
Well, there were 2 cleaners here, and all I've done is I approached them very politely. I've recorded the whole conversation. It's on CCTV. I've been threatened with a punch in the face. I've been very polite, and this is illegally. I am a tenant here, and they're telling me that I am not a tenant here. I've already had to record building contractors with abusive, threatening behaviour. Legally, I am still a tenant here.
Where are the females at the moment?
One of them is in the car, and one of them is in the tenant's room. This tenant, Sarah, in room 1, she got involved and it had nothing to do with her. I was very polite. My name is Brian and I've been very polite and civil, and I've just been...
Hey, Bryony, is everybody injured at the moment?
No. The tenant in room 1. The tenant in room 1 is deliberately. She's been told not to talk to me, and I've been told not to talk to her. All I did was ask her not to play music in the communal area very politely, and I just wanted to approach the cleaners on a matter that. Well, it's not private, but it was. She was getting involved and trying to cause trouble, and I was very civil, and I've just been met with abusive behaviour.
Bryony, where are the females still there at the moment?
They're in the car.
Right, what's the registration?
Right. You don't need to hear that.
Excuse me a second. It is.
You don't need to hear the registration number.
Okay, do you know their names?
I don't know their names because they've just been aggressive and abusive. I've been very civil to them. Very civil. I recorded it, and now we've finally got CCTV. Hopefully the police will look at it.
Okay, are you able to go back inside your property, please?
Yes, I'm going back in. I have not stopped them from doing their work. They were being infantile, just like the building contractors. I've gone back into the property. I've been very polite to them.
Okay, we are going to be there soon. If anything escalates between now and then, please give us a call back on 999. But officers will be with you. Are you currently in self-isolation because of COVID?
No, I'm not.
Officers will be with you.
Are you showing any symptoms?
No.
Have you been exposed to anyone showing any symptoms?
No. I'm shaking though.
Okay.
Could I please have a reference for this call, please?
Yeah, it's 350.
Right, okay.
350. I'm shaking. Do you have a not that it's probably going to make any difference. Do you have like a what do you call it? Pay number? I'm shaking.
I can give you my first name. My name's Vicky.
Oh, that's it. Okay then. All right, that would do. Thank you. Thank you.
Can you just confirm what room you're in, please?
I'm shaking. I'm in room 2.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll be with you soon. Okay.
Right. Okay. Thanks very much. Thank you.
No worries. Take care.
Thanks. Bye. Oh, so I've got to wait for the police to turn up.
Which they did, but they didn't speak to me. They spoke to Sarah and the cleaners and decided that an offence hadn't been called. I wonder if Justin had something to do with it. Well, it's funny that, because the managing director probably got involved with the other Freemasons, whoever's whatever, and the cleaner got involved. You could hear she's on the phone to her boss. Do you see where I'm going with this? Yeah. So now that there is actually CCTV because an offence has been committed where it states that there's CCTV, and there wasn't the whole time that I had been living here. They give me notice to quit, and then they install it. And then you see where, anyway, you see what I mean. You see what I mean. But if they look at the CCTV, that you can see I'm not blocking anyone's entrance. And they could actually do me a favour and call out PCE and Williams, the welfare officer, who said the landlord has a duty to upkeep the property to a certain standard. And what did you hear the cleaner saying? Something about, I can't give a FUCK about a bit of shit in the bin. Yeah. I do wonder now, could Sarah be one of the possible... She suddenly went away for the night, came back, and then I said, "Oh, you won't believe this. There's a piece of human feces in the bin, inside a tuna can." And I put a note. I took it out. I didn't touch it. No, it was inside the tuna can, inside a bag. I could smell it. It might have been a small piece, but the smell. But then I realised the toilet next door was also full of... But, you know, I take that seriously. I personally take it seriously. If there's a smell that's making me want to vomit, you think of what is in feces, how dangerous it is. A lot of bacteria. I've got more chance of catching something in here than I have from this COVID nonsense. This is the real pandemic. Child trafficking, human trafficking, and people doing disgusting things like this, and the police don't turn up. Because the sergeant, the triage sergeant, I'd love to know who it was. Could it be Sergeant Simmons who suggested I get this? These cowards saying an offence hasn't been committed. They didn't even investigate. And trust me, I just wish that my microphone had picked up that cleaner saying, she was on the phone to someone and she said, "I'm going to punch her in the face." But unfortunately, you can't really hear it in the recording, but you can hear my shock when I said, "I beg your pardon." And then you can hear her say, "I wasn't saying it to you." I wonder who she was saying it to then. But anyway, you know, it's demented. It's whatever you want to call it. Demonic is what some people say as part of the programming. They bring these people in, but you can hear her at the start of the call. She's already been on the phone to her boss. She went upstairs to speak to her boss and then came down. And she said something about she knew about my notice to quit, and that alluding to that I have to have done something to get that notice to quit. So there's a lot of abusive behaviour going on here. I've had Steve and this nasty Sarah. Well, they'll all get their comeuppance. I mean, these people, they cry, they look distressed, and you think, gosh, you wonder why you've got so many issues. I get suicidal. I've got issues. I don't treat people like this. And it's about time people took responsibility for themselves. Because that is why society is in the state that it's in. So I've always put my hands up to when I've done something wrong. Always. If you look up this thing about a targeted individual that I've just seen, one of the things it mentions, you know, talk about narcissists and gaslighting and gang stalking, which I'm a victim of. The individual questions their own sanity and says sorry a lot. My whole life to this very day, it's a very English thing, but when people keep saying, "Bradley, will you stop saying sorry?" you keep saying sorry, 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 sorry. I've had so much abuse. How many people in total have physically touched me, which is a form of common assault, under Section 117 of battery, with the police, just touching. You're not even allowed to put an arm up. I've had bruises on me, scabs, pinned to a bed by a group of nursing assistants, quote unquote. You know, I showed you at the start that article of me, and I'm not trying to be big-headed and neurotic here. Saying about the care work that I did, I worked hard. I gave people my time. Even when it was the end of my shift, I would spend time with those elderly people that I cared for. I'd listen to them, and I'd be so tired. Just wanted to go home and take off my sweaty tunic. And just get in the bath. I'd literally get in the door and strip off, and my mother would pick up all my dirty stuff. I'd be like, literally like, because you've spent time giving your mental energy to these elderly people. Some of them can be bullies. And unfortunately, you know, targeted individuals, empaths, they get the narcissistic abuse from all corners of every area of their life. It's this and that, and in the end you have to find a way to deal with them, and you have to treat them like bad children. This is like a home. It is like you know, not just here, generally speaking, you have to treat it like it's a home for badly behaved children. A care home for badly behaved but not even badly behaved children would behave like this. But this is not so. This is not just the tenants, this is the staff. You know, I say to people, there are a lot of demented, mentally ill, deranged people in Eastbourne, and that's just the people that run the town. Trust me, I know. I've been to the EPA, I've been to the council, I've, with or without a smear campaign, you can go in and you can see. It's very interesting studying human behaviour, I can tell you that. But do not go to university either, because from what I've learned, there's a lot of satanic ritual abuse, programming, MK Ultra there. Do you remember in the old days, I'm going off topic here, but I'm going totally off topic here. But my late mother said that university used to be a place for only the intellectual. Now anyone can go to university. You know, and they think they pay all those thousands of pounds to get brainwashed. They have no knowledge of the real world. And whilst I've got a shitty, excuse my French, a shitty existence, it's not actually shitty. I don't want money. I don't want materialism. I don't want all of that. I never did. Well, we all wanted a little bit. But what I'm trying to say is I've now seen the nitty gritty, and I'm going in right in there head first. And I'm like, that's not right. That's not right. I should feel safe with this. You know, Sarah was taking photographs, telling me not to use the microwave because there's rust. I've taken photographs, but there's all this rust in there. And it's very dangerous, particularly for a woman, because it can destroy your reproductive system. But the radiation waves, you know, the rust, even my partner said it was dangerous. But she was the one who was telling me, don't use it, I won't touch it. So since then, I've been using the oven, and the only kettle that works is my own. So this John was saying, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll get you a Hoover. Then he blocks my number. So I'm still not safe here. I'm still legally a tenant. This is going to go to court. I'm still legally a tenant, but I'm still not safe. So there's CCTV, But if I complain about anything, they're still not going to listen to me. The lies, it's just a joke. Steve, did you hear him? You listen to those recordings again. You listen carefully. John, I don't know with John. He's working with John. That's the person I'm talking about, him from A&A. They're both that. I'm ruining their livelihoods, am I? Really? Listen to me, and I'm going to skip repetition for emphasis. This is what the presidents do. When I say that I thought that tenant was going to kill me, I mean it, okay? I've had attempted rape. And I've had domestic violence after my mother died. By men. And it was, in comparison, it was nothing. In fact, the attempted rape, I got excited because I overpowered my assailant, thanks to Lindsay DePaul, the late, wonderful, beautiful Lindsay DePaul, and her wonderful taking control videos that I had as a child. But that woman, and it was a female younger than me, but with a lot of big built. Women can be more scary than men. I'm telling you, I was terrified. She might be a lot younger than me, an awful lot younger than me, but she was big built and there's a lot of anger in there. And trust me, I know. Because my eldest sister had to be kicked out at the age of 16. My mother, my late mother, and my middle sister were cowering in the corner, ringing 999 on the old-fashioned dial. So trust me. And I tell you what, that BPD diagnosis, they give it to any woman who's... A lot of women have been misdiagnosed. They're actually bipolar and they're misdiagnosed with the BPD. And sometimes they like to change it back to suit them, to say this woman is getting angry, so therefore we're going to give her the BPD diagnosis. I have met a man with a BPD diagnosis. You're getting the aggression, you C-word, you this. I do not treat people like this. On the rare occasion... in the last few years, I've blown up. But that is because I had a lot of abuse, a lot of stressful. It's built up over a lifetime. I don't swear at people. I don't shout at people. I get very angry, and quite rightly so. And that is what you've heard. In fact, actually, I've been a lot more angry than that before, but that it's got to get to a point where you've had so much abuse. And as I said, in the last 4 months, I've had all these people assault me. But anyway, I've been on here for an hour and a half, and I only wanted to be on here for less than an hour. I was hoping half an hour at the most. Anyway, I'm ending it all now, so I'm not ending it all, but you know what I mean.